Hey everybody, welcome back. And today we're going to be doing our full trip and video breakdown. We've had to make some changes, so we're going to talk about those and cover a lot of other details. So without any further ado, let's hit the intro and let's get straight into the video. Are you tired of the stress of planning your own Disney World vacation? A lot of things that people don't understand is using a Disney World travel agent does not cost you any money. Not a penny. I've been using the same travel agent since 2021. It's been great. So if you guys need help planning your trip, where essentially all you're going to do is you're going to tell somebody, this is what I want to do with my vacation, and then let someone else do the American dream. Essentially take your problem in your vacation and throw it in someone else's lap and let them stress over it. It doesn't cost you anything. It's absolutely free. And by doing so, you'd actually be helping me out. I use Marvelous Mouse Travels to plan all my trips and vacations to Disney. So if you would like someone that's going to help you plan your vacations, answer all your questions, and be able to pretty much help you with everything from dining reservations to if you need park reservations and all of these things, I'm going to leave all the information in the description box down below so you can go check her out. She's absolutely amazing. When you send her an email, just tell her that I sent you, and you'll be helping me out a lot. So let's talk about our trip plans here. So as you can imagine, economically, everything has been an absolute dumpster fire. Um, what happens to one thing obviously goes downhill. So economically, our job has really started cracking down on a lot of the overtime and a lot of the stuff that we've been doing. So because of this happening, we had to go through and make a lot of changes. We realize that we are, getting literally down to the wire. We are almost at exactly 90 days before we head out. So dining reservation day is coming up pretty damn fast. And we just finished paying off our package and getting everything squared away. So I figured I would discuss some of the changes that we made and to why we essentially did so. Um, we initially were going to be staying at Pop, but as you can imagine, staying on property is a little bit more expensive, and I know I've made videos in the past saying not to stay off property. And I still stand by this. Still to this day, if you're going to be at Disney World for an extended period of time, being more than 2 or 3 days, I would highly recommend you staying on property. So what if you could stay off property but have on property perks? Is there even a hotel that exists? There is actually one that I found, and it is a new hotel. It is actually a neighbor hotel in the Disney Springs area, so you're still technically on property if you want to look at it theoretically speaking. It's called Jury Plaza Hotel. Anybody that's been in the San Antonio area, you've probably seen these hotels all over the place. You've probably seen them. I know we've seen them a lot in Texas. We saw them a couple of them up in Missouri, but didn't really see a whole lot of them in Florida, when we were driving around Orlando and around SeaWorld and stuff like that. But this hotel has all the perks of staying on property with one exception. One, instead of making your advanced lightning lane reservation 7 days before your trip, you would apply as the off property resort and you would only be able to make them 3 days. Granted, Disney has came out and said that this is really not a big deal for people staying off property because you're still going to be able to make lightning lane reservations or make those reservations, and you're not going to miss out on anything 3 days prior. Um, Everything else is the same. Your dining reservations, you can make them up to 10 days, 60 days out. You get early theme park entry. You get free breakfast every morning. So it's kind of like a win-win for me personally. Not to mention the rooms are a lot bigger. You have an entire area, you had an entire kitchenette and everything, so they're kind of like suites where you can kind of make your own food type of thing. So it was definitely beneficial for me to change it, and I think it saved approximately about $1,200 cheaper than it was staying at Pop. For those of you who are worried about transportation in and around the parks, this is something that is really not a problem, as Jury has buses that will take you to all four theme parks. And all you have to do is essentially just go to the bus that wants to go to the certain area. You want to get on the bus to go to Magic Kingdom, you will be dropped off at the Transportation and Ticket Center, where you will then have to take a ferry or monorail to the Magic Kingdom. Or you can do one even better. Jury Plaza Hotel is exactly 5 minutes away from Disney Springs. So you simply walk 5 minutes to Disney Springs, catch a bus to the Contemporary Resort, and just walk across the street. I actually think that is probably a lot faster than walking 5 minutes to Disney Springs, catching a bus to the Contemporary Resort, as it's an absolute straight shot. There's no guarantee that some of these things are going to be like that. As far as getting to the other, three theme parks as Animal Kingdom, I don't really think getting to Animal Kingdom is really going to be a big problem because you can simply just get on the bus and go to Animal Kingdom. We're not going to Animal Kingdom this year. But as far as Epcot and Hollywood Studios, it's actually really straightforward. Me personally, I plan on early in the morning walking to Disney Springs, getting on a bus to Pop or Art of Animation, and catching a Skyliner over there instead of waiting on the bus line. Because as you can tell, the bus line entry is on the opposite side of the park from where I need to be. So that's why I'm doing that. You can feel free if you didn't want to complicate things and you don't have to stay there for 14 days. You're only there with your family. You could just take the buses there and it's not a big problem. You could, eat your breakfast and then after your breakfast go wait in line to get on the bus. It's not a big deal. Extremely beneficial for 14 days, and 10 park days cost about $3,500, which is really not that bad considering uh, the state and the price tickets and the way that everything is here. All right, so we're going to break down our trips. We had to make a lot of changes to our dining reservations. We did a poll several weeks back asking about, what should we do about the fireworks shows and stuff. I took some time to really watch the community's uploads of Luminous, the Symphony of Us, and I was actually really impressed with some of the shows that some of the people have actually put out of this show. And seeing some of the people have their own variations of the show really made me want to go out and do something a little special with this show, as well as with Happily Ever After. Um, for those of you who don't know, when we shot the show back in 2023, everyone's always asking what camera did I use. I used the Samsung Galaxy S23 cell phone to record Happily Ever After. All the shows that I've done in the past, they've all been shot with cell phones. So they look as good as they do just because I've learned and progressed over a period of time. With that being said, some of you know that we've upgraded some serious hardware this year. We've gotten a Canon R5C, an 8K camera, and we'll also be investing in a Lumix S5 2X that will actually be coming. And we'll be recording like 15 different angles of Luminous when we come there. We have a horizontal tripod that we're going to be ordering next week that will allow us to put two cameras on our tripod rather than one. So as you can imagine, we're going a little crazy. I'm in the process of building a microphone setup to attach to the camera. It's still a work in progress. I still have to get another shotgun microphone for it to try to put something together. But once we do all that, it'll be fun. So we made changes, and essentially we're going to have 5 days at Epcot, 5 days at Magic Kingdom, one day at Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios with Fantasmic, and we're shooting it. We haven't shot that show since 2022. We're going to be getting 6 angles since the day we're going. They're going to be doing 2 shows. We're going to be using all 3 cameras to record 2 different times. So as you can imagine, 6 angles, and we should have plenty to be able to record and get a video out of it. We'll be recording 15 angles of Luminous and probably right around 9 of Happily Ever After within the course of 5 days. Let's talk about the Enchantment show, which will be showing on January the 6th. The after hours event is going to take place. I'm investing in that because Enchantment was the very first fireworks show that I did, and I wanted to go back and redo it. So it gives me an opportunity to go out and record Enchantment one night with 3 cameras, trying to pull out everything that I can as much as and as quickly as I can to make it look and sound the best possible way. So yeah, there's that. So we're going to have 4 fireworks shows coming back to work on. The order that they will be released will be Fantasmic, Luminous, Enchantment, and Happily Ever After. We're going to be doing a lot of things different next year when it comes to that. Before we release the trailer will not be released until the video is done. But instead, we're going to be releasing the soundtrack with the ahead of time, so that way, because apparently everybody likes listening to the soundtracks of these shows. So I'm going to start uploading my edited version of the soundtrack just to let you know this will be the same soundtrack that I'll use with the show. Um, let's talk about our dining reservations. We had to make a lot of changes financially to the dining reservations, as this is something that was really, really hurting. Um, Doing California Grill more than one day is just extremely painful financially, because you're essentially paying $100 for a meal. So it's very painful. It hurts financially. So we kind of had to cut something out, and we added a lot of things that we haven't had before. So let's break it down, shall we? On New Year's Eve, when we arrive, we'll be eating at Citricos. This is at the Grand Floridian Resort. A lot of people on social media have been, recommending this restaurant because they have really good food and really good fireworks viewing spots. Although we won't be watching fireworks from here, we'll actually be going to the Polynesian Village Beach to watch them. Um, on New Year's Day, we'll be having California Grill. This is where we record an angle for Happily Ever After. We will probably stream New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. We will probably stream Happily Ever After and Fantasy in the Sky here on this channel as well. Our first park day, actually, we'll be going to SeaWorld Orlando on New Year's as well. So definitely getting some footage there, as we don't have hardly anything from 2022. On January 2nd, we'll be heading over to Magic Kingdom. We'll be having lunch at Grand Floridian Cafe. This is another restaurant that a lot of people have been giving a lot of hype about. A lot of people have said a lot of good things about this restaurant, so really excited to really try it out. And then on the 3rd, we have Epcot. It's a mix of garden grill and just eating quick service that day. If we have the money for it and we've been able to plan correctly for it, we'll be eating garden grill. If we're really strapped for money, then we'll just have quick service that day. Really straightforward. On the 4th is our one day for Hollywood Studios. My travel agent recommended 50s Primetime Cafe. And while I know this is a fan favorite for people who love going, people have said nothing but good things about this environment and the way that this restaurant works and everything plays out. I have no doubt that the food there is good. But 50's Primetime Cafe is essentially right around $70 for the Fantasmic VIP package. So when you think about it logically, if you have to choose between Hollywood Brown Derby and 50's Primetime Cafe, and you only have one day in Hollywood Studios, which restaurant are you going to go with? Hollywood Brown Derby. 100% of the time, because Hollywood Brown Derby outclasses, well, 50s by a long shot. And it's only an extra $20. What's 20 bucks, right? Half a tank of gas, or actually probably a quarter tank in this economy. After that, we'll be heading back to Epcot, where we get to either eat at Le Cellier or have quick service that day. Really just depends. As anybody that's ever been here, and I've talked about these things, Le Cellier is my favorite restaurant in Epcot, period. Afterwards, we have a park free day for about 90% of the day. At 7 p.m., we'll be making our way to Magic Kingdom for the after hours event. We'll be having dinner at Yachtsman Steakhouse. This is something that's new, something we haven't had before, but something that a lot of people have recommended when they want to talk about steakhouses, some of the best steakhouses in Disney World. Yachtsman Steakhouse is always one of the ones that comes up, and it also comes up as one being very good, but yet still very affordable. So we're going to be checking it out. It's at the Yacht and Beach Club Resort. So catching a bus from there to Magic Kingdom is, very easy. After that, we'll be heading back to Epcot. We'll be eating at one of my favorite, the best pizza place in all of Disney World, Via Napoli, or Via Napoli as I like to call it. Following day, heading back to Magic Kingdom, Steakhouse 71 for lunch. Then we'll be heading to Epcot the following day, eating at Flying Fish. Then our last park free day on the 10th. We'll be doing Disney Springs and sleeping in, playing some golf, doing all this stuff. We'll obviously have dinner at Grand Floridian Cafe. Then we'll catch a monorail to Magic Kingdom to record Happily Ever After. The following day on the 11th, it's a toss-up between Be Our Guest and eating quick service. It's one of these things where it just really depends on, how money is going. More than likely, it'll be Our Guest, but beggars can't be choosers. We'll also be wrapping up our happily ever after video during this time as well. Our final day will be at Epcot, and if you have your last day, you might as well go out with a bang. We're going to be eating at Le Cellier again. That is how good it is. Um, and then we'll be finishing up our Luminous recordings. So yeah, that's our dining reservations. I've already told you pretty much how much everything costs. I don't think I'm going to discuss with you how much the dining really costs, because I think it's going to deter people away from wanting to eat at some of these restaurants. Um, we will be doing documentaries for two. We'll be doing two documentaries during this trip. We'll be doing a documentary for Luminous, and we'll be doing one for Happily Ever After. I don't really see the need to do one for Enchantment, since we're going to be doing the Happily Ever After documentary, which everything essentially carries over from that since it's in the same park. I don't feel the need to want to do it for Hollywood Studios Fantasmic, because it's just one day we're recording. Uh, you don't have to do anything, essentially. It's just two spots. So I don't really feel the need to want to do that either. So yeah, Luminous and Happily Ever After, we're going to be two documentaries we're going to be making on creating those shows. We're probably going to do a video on steak and stuff. We're going to be vlogging every day, and then we're going to be using probably the Lumix camera to get some of the low light rides, like Peter Pan's Flight and a lot of things that have low light rides that is really difficult to get video of. We're going to throw in the Sigma lens and the 1.4 or 14 millimeter, and just go record it there. Turn on the autofocus and let it do all the work. So it's great. A lot of good plans. We're sitting here at about roughly right about 98 days until we have to leave. So everything's done and paid for. We're essentially just playing the waiting game here. So it's been fun. We are planning a trip probably to San Antonio in December. So we'll keep you updated on that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or you have any other suggestions, leave them in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.